Hey guys, what's up? Do you want to maximize your weight loss while on a GLP-1? Are you currently on one like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, Zepbound, semaglutide, or tirzepatide, and you're just not getting the results that you're looking for? Either you're losing really slowly, or maybe you're just not responding at all and you're not losing any weight, and you're really frustrated at this point, wondering what to do, maybe even feeling like you're doing something wrong and wanting to know, how do you fix this? Hi, I'm Jules, and I have been on a GLP-1. Actually, I've been on all of them for almost 3 years at this point. I started in 2022. I have since lost 50 plus pounds. It took me about a year to hit my goal weight, and I have been maintaining 113 pounds for 2 years now. And I'm here to share with you everything that I have learned from my personal experience, along with some science research-backed data to help you in your journey to figure out why you're not losing, or how you could speed up your weight loss to maximize your results. This includes lifestyle changes, mindset shifts, and how I also evolved my weight loss goal, and you probably will too over time. I'm gonna go through my personal experience. So before we get started, if you find value in this video, I would love for you to give it a like and subscribe and leave a comment as well. Where are you in your journey? Are you considering a GLP-1? Are you already on one? What has your experience been? Are you a fast responder, a hyper responder? Are you a slow responder? Let us know where you are, and maybe some of your comments can help out the community as well. All right, let's get started. Let's get into all the ways that you can maximize that fat loss. Let's start with why you think, or why you're not losing as much or even anything at this point. So number one, when you are on the initial starting dose, which is typically 0.25 if you're Ozempic or Wegovy, and if you're on Zepbound or Mounjaro, it's 2.5 milligrams. That is the starting dose. So let's be really clear. That starting dose is to acclimate your body to the medication in order so that you don't get negative side effects. It's to kind of ease your body in. It's not specifically for weight loss. Do people get weight loss on it? Absolutely. Really high and fast responders to that will start to see results really fast. That's great. I mean, good for you. That's amazing. But if you're one of those people where you're looking at everyone else and going, well, I'm not getting that same result, I'm not losing anything, or I've only lost, I don't know, a pound or two in the first month, what am I doing wrong? Or should I even stay on this medication? I get it, it can be expensive and you're not sure if it's worth it. I'm here to say yes, it is, and you cannot make a decision off of that first starting dose, because it is strictly to acclimate your body. And it has been shown in the research that to get the maximal body fat percentage, the maximal weight loss, you have to titrate up. It is in those higher doses that will give you that weight loss. So give yourself time, patience, and grace. And during the initial month or two, as your body is acclimating to the medication, now is the time to also dial in on the lifestyle habits. So while the GLP-1 is there to help regulate your appetite and satiety signaling, and to reduce, that appetite and help with insulin sensitivity and calorie partitioning and, rewiring your brain and doing all those wonderful things, it is not a monotherapy, meaning you can't just rely on the GLP-1 to do its magic, and it does seem a little bit magical at times, but you can't rely on it only and not do other things. If you have a lot of weight to lose starting off, then you might be able to get away with just doing the GLP-1, as it does reduce the appetite. But there's going to be a time when you're going to stall or plateau, and you're going to have to really dial in to figure out what you need to do to continue the weight loss. Or for some people, if you're in the beginning and it's not really happening, now's the time to dial in. So I'm going to give you now 8 things to do if you are a non-responder or a slow responder, with a caveat. Now, there are some people that will not respond. It's a very few that will not respond to the medication at all. Super few and far between. There are some people that will go on to semaglutide, Ozempic, Wegovy, and for whatever reason, they're just not responding to that particular GLP-1. And then sometimes switching over to Zepbound or Mounjaro, tirzepatide with the added GIP will help them, and then they'll start to respond. And I've also seen where it's the other way around, a little bit less frequent, where somebody won't respond to the tirzepatide and then going to semaglutide offers them more of an appetite suppressant. But I have seen that. What I haven't seen personally, and I've been in the community for many years now, I have never not seen anyone respond. There may be people out there, but I have not seen it. Some of the folks that tend to be really slow responders are people with very high insulin insensitivity. Those are typically people that are diabetic or really high up on that scale. Those folks do tend to respond a little bit slower, but you will respond to it. The weight loss, your numbers might come down, your blood sugar levels, but then the weight loss may be a little bit slower for you. So you just have to be a little bit more patient. Other folks that may not respond as well, if you're on other medications, that might be counterproductive to what we're doing with the GLP-1. So if you are, then you should talk to your healthcare practitioner about that, because that could be getting in the way of the weight loss. All right, let's get into it. 8 things that are going to move the needle and get that fat loss. Number 1, you gotta track. I know that there's controversy in this. I know there's some people out there that are saying, I don't track, I'm never gonna track. It's counterproductive, it's part of diet culture, blah, blah, blah. Well, you gotta track if you want to know what your data points are. I mean, if you're not losing weight or you're not losing it as quickly as you want to lose it, being realistic with that weight loss. Now let me go back to the weight loss. Realistic, healthy weight loss is 0.5 to 2 pounds a week, or 1% of your body weight. And it will slow down the closer you get to your goal weight. The leaner you get, it does slow down. So keep that in mind, because I have seen people out there that are like, oh my God, I only lost 10 pounds in the last month. Really? That's like freaking amazing. I never lost that much in a month. And yet they're disappointed. So sometimes it is about perspective. Again, 0.5 to 2 pounds of weight loss a week, or 1% of your body weight, is healthy. Much more than that, you could be losing lean muscle mass, and that's what you really want to avoid. You don't want that. You want it to be predominantly body fat that's being lost. Can you lose more? Absolutely. Can you lose less? Absolutely. Sometimes there'll be weeks that are more, less, sometimes they'll be flat, but on average, when you're averaging out, you're looking at 0.5 to 2 pounds a week. So in order to move the needle and really dial in on the fat loss, start tracking. Track your calories, track your protein. Those are the 2 numbers that I really look to. I don't track my fat, and I don't track my carbohydrates per se, but I do keep them lower. So that is tip number 2. Tracking your starchy carbs, because you want to eat a lot of vegetables and some fruits, but when you're in the weight loss phase, you want to be careful with the fruits because they do have natural sugars in there. So you do want to be a little bit careful. The fruits that I like to stick to are like apples and berries. You want to try to be cautious about some of the fruits that could spike your glucose. Some people eating a banana will spike their glucose, and other people are totally fine with it. I think I used to be fine with bananas. I used to eat them a lot. I kind of got away from them just because I don't eat them as much. but I really enjoy like the Granny Smith green apples and blueberries and raspberries and strawberries and different melons, and I do eat that. And lots of vegetables because that's really good in terms of fiber. Now, when it comes to the starchy carbs, if you are insulin resistant, you have PCOS, pre-diabetic, diabetic, or you're just not really seeing that weight loss and you're not even sure if that's, you fall into that category, it has been shown that when you reduce your starchy carbs and you keep them a little bit lower, that will help you to get more insulin sensitive. When you're more insulin sensitive, that means that your body's going to use the calories that you consume much better. It'll get sucked into your muscles versus your fat, and you will then start to lose more body fat. Now, what does that mean in terms of low starchy carbs? Well, that's pretty individual based on how you're feeling. I can tell you my experience generally is under 100 grams of starchy carbs a day. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. I've generally not ever really gone under 50. You do not need to do keto. If you want to, great, that's no issues there. The problem I personally have with keto is I think it's under like 20 or 25 grams of carbohydrates a day, and it's very limiting. And I don't want to be that limited, and I want to be able to eat a little bit more, and I do enjoy from time to time having rice and bread and pasta and things of that nature, but I put some guardrails on it. I limit that, especially in the weight loss phase. You will have way better results when you start to limit that, and then you put your focus onto nice lean protein and onto a lot of vegetables and some fruits. That's where you're going to really find your sweet spot. Okay, number 3 out of the 8, you really want to limit or even avoid as much as possible highly processed foods. Highly processed foods are foods that basically come in a box or a bag and they have a barcode on it. It's really the easiest way to define processed foods. I know it's really hard to completely eliminate it. I don't either. I mean, I have salad dressings. There's certain things that I do have, but I really limit the highly processed food because they generally just don't have any nutrients or, nutritional, great things for your body. So it's really not doing you any good to have it. They're really low in protein. They generally have chemicals in there. And if you're looking at the ingredients and you can't understand what they are, and probably about 95%, I don't understand some of the things that are in there myself, it's probably not going to be good for your body. So really the focus is on whole foods. Anything that's under 5 ingredients is probably the best way to think about it. And it's easier to prepare foods too. If you have something that you're preparing and it's got like 20 ingredients, I mean, I cook mostly everything that I eat and go out or take in once or twice a week, my husband and I, but I really don't like to come up with something really, elaborate because it's just way too time consuming. If you like to cook, great, spices and all that stuff, all great. But I really like to keep things pretty simple, which actually reminds me, if you're interested in seeing a video of what I eat in a day or a week or just in general, let me know in the comments because I will put a video together showcasing all the stuff that I eat, how I prepare it, take you through an entire day of everything. But it's pretty time consuming, so I'm not gonna do it if you're not interested, but if you are interested, let me know and I'm more than happy to do that for you. Okay, number 4 is exercise. I know some people out there are like, I never really exercised before and I don't really like it, or I didn't like it, or I used to exercise in order to lose weight. So exercise is really important, but it's your mindset around the exercise. Don't exercise to lose weight. That puts it into a negative connotation. I used to do that. And then it just made it a chore, or it was boring, or it was just something I had to do. I don't look at it that way anymore. I look at working out and exercise as something I get to do. And the reason why it's so invaluable when you're losing weight and also in maintaining, because as you develop your muscles and you get stronger, well, first of all, you feel amazing. It is so good for you from a mental health perspective. It really clears your mind. Like, I'm just not me if I'm not working out. I am not as good in terms of working, relationships, or even with myself if I don't do something in the day. So I love walking with my weighted vest every morning. That is my non-negotiable. And lifting weights, because it's amazing to see the strength when you start lifting weights. And as we get older, we want to maintain that strength. We want to maintain the bone density. We want to maintain being ourselves and having our independence. It's so important, especially as we get older. There is no way that I want to be depending on anyone when I get older. And I will do everything that I can to prevent that from happening and to remain independent forever. So that is one of the reasons. The other is when you start to build muscle, muscle creates more insulin sensitivity. Hey, more fat loss. So it's amazing for the fat loss, but don't look at it for that reason. Also, in maintaining your weight, it makes it so much easier when you hit your goal weight to be able to maintain, because muscle is like a sink for glucose. It just sucks all that glucose up. So when you eat something, instead of it going into your fat cells, it gets into your muscles and it uses that. So even if you're sitting at your desk, right, for 8 or 10 hours, you're working, whatever you're doing, get up every hour or two and just go for a 5-minute walk, do some air squats, like just get your body moving. Just that little bit of activity, it will give you energy, it'll reinvigorate you, it'll get your brain going, and it also gets your muscles going, which gets, that glucose going into your muscles. So it's a win-win on every level, which leads me to point number 5, and that is movement throughout the day. We humans tend to be sitting for way too long. I think the average is like 10 hours a day or something. It's somewhere between like 8 and 12 hours a day, which is crazy. I mean, you're in bed sleeping for whatever, right? 6 to 8 hours a night. And then if you're sitting for 10 hours a day, you're just not moving. And I have absolutely found that moving and more steps and movement helped me to lose weight, and it's really helped me in this maintenance phase as well. So wherever you are with your steps, if that's what you're using for just daily movement and you're tracking it, and I really encourage you to track your steps so you know where you are, just increase that by like 2,000 steps a week until you hit that 10,000 threshold. That's what I use. 10,000 is my minimal non-negotiable number that I shoot for every single day, and I usually exceed that number. It just feels so good to move, and it's so good for your body to move. And we humans are meant to move. We are not meant to just be sitting. So, they say sitting's the new smoking, right? And if that's true, and the science and the research say it is true, well, we know what smoking does, and it brings on lots of different illnesses and diseases. So if we want to avoid getting sick, start moving just a little bit more. Okay, number 6, sleep. Sleep hygiene, sleep habits. You need to be able to make sleep like your job. And I never did that in the past. I subscribed to the, I'll sleep when I'm dead, or, I don't really need that much sleep or whatever. Well, when I had kids and I really wasn't sleeping, I really missed my sleep. So I think that's where it kind of dialed in for me. I'm like, oh my God, I treasure sleeping. But I never really understood the meaning of how healthy it is to have a consistent, quality sleep routine, actually until more recently, until this journey. And it's taken me a while to really dial in on the sleep, get those habits down. So it doesn't happen overnight just because you're like, all right, here's my new habit. I'm going to implement it tonight and forever. It doesn't necessarily work that way. So small little tweaks on your sleep habits if you go to bed around the same time every night and get up around the same time every morning, you will get more consistent and you'll get much better quality sleep. I'm at the point now where I do have my alarm set in the morning, but I would say 90 to 95% of the time, I wake up before my alarm because I'm so consistent that my body is just done. It's done sleeping and it's ready for the day. The other advantage of that is I used to wake up in the morning and it would take me like an hour to get out of bed because I was so tired. And then I'd jump on social media and use that as a way of avoiding getting up. But I don't do that anymore. Now I get up right away. Like, it's amazing. I'm like, as soon as my body wakes up, literally within 2 minutes, I'm like ready to go. I'm out of bed. And I get up around 5 in the morning and I'm up and I'm ready to go and I'm awake and I'm not feeling like fatigued or draggy. So that's the other advantage to really dialing in and really getting in that sleep consistency. So, so, so important. Okay, 2 more. Number 7, hydration. It's really, really, really important. Human bodies are made up mostly of water, and it's very important to stay hydrated. It's very easy to not drink enough on a GLP-1 because they suppress appetite. It also suppresses your thirst. So you have to really be intentional about how much you're drinking, because if you don't think about it, you're probably not drinking enough. Now, water, coffee, tea, those all contribute towards hydration. I drink all of them, and I would say to track your hydration to know that you're getting in enough. At least target half your body weight in ounces. I typically get over 100 ounces a day, and I start my day with about 20, 25 ounces of water. I just kind of chug it down. I'm more a chugger than a sipper. You do you. If sipping works for you, do that. If you find chugging works, that's great. That's what I do in the morning. And then I'll have my coffee, and then I have tea later in the day. I have some tea at night. I drink more water throughout the day as well. And certainly if it's hot outside and you're sweating, you're gonna wanna drink more. So really make sure that you're drinking water. That will help with the weight loss. Okay, and then number 8. This one is an interesting one. So number 8, I call it protect your peace. What does this mean? It means your support system, the people around you. If the people around you are not really supportive of your journey, or they're sabotaging your weight loss, whatever that means, it could be your significant other, it could mean some sort of family member, it could be coworkers or friends. If you have any sort of unhealthy relationships with anyone, that causes stress. And stress causes higher cortisol. And what does that cause? That will cause fat gain, or you won't be able to lose weight. So it is really important to try and surround yourself with healthy people. Obviously, that's really difficult if you can't when it comes to work relationships or some family members. I get it, I know. You don't reach the age of 54 without having some or many toxic relationships in my past. But what I have tried to do over the decades of learning this is you either eliminate them from your life, which can be hard. I've done that before as well, and it's amazing when you are free from a toxic relationship, or you need to put boundaries around that relationship. Those are boundaries for you, because that toxic person will run right through your boundaries. They're not going to respect your boundaries. So don't expect that for the most part. You need to put your own guardrails around those boundaries so that if they do violate them, you know what your response is going to be to that. And you need to do that to protect yourself, to protect your own peace of mind. And then you need to surround yourself with good, positive people that resonate with you, the people that are on this journey with you, that will help you, encourage you to stay positive and stay strong in doing this. All right, so let me tell you a personal story with regards to goal weight, because you might be on this journey and you've selected a goal weight and now you hit that goal weight and you're like, is that really where I want to be? I'm not quite sure. And that happened to me. I started somewhere in the 160s. Again, I didn't want to weigh myself back then until I lost like 10 pounds. So I was somewhere in the 160s. And I had initially picked a goal weight that was around like 120, 125. Keep in mind, I'm only 5'1". So it's definitely realistic. And I picked that number because I weighed that much in high school, and I thought, I really haven't weighed that much since high school. I think it's realistic for sure. And even though it also felt a little bit out of reach, and can I actually reach that? So that's the initial number. And then I reached that number. And I was like, maybe I could lose a little bit more. So I said to myself, well, let's see if I could get to 115, 110. At this point, I was really feeling good, but I really wanted to optimize. I wanted to see, can I get leaner and can I get stronger? And I've always worked out, but I never felt like my body showed that I worked out. And I wanted to have a body that said, hey, I work out. I want that to show on my body. Let's see what I can do while I'm on a GLP-1, which I'm still on. What can I do now that I don't have all that food noise in my head, now that I'm really eating really well and making choices and it's not really, really, really difficult. I'm not white knuckling it. I'm loving exercise. Let's see if I could drop my body fat more and add more muscle. And that's what I did. And then I dropped all the way down to 110. And then I said, oh, can I go even farther? And I tried, but I couldn't. My body was like, nope, we're done over here. I could not budge through that number. The only time that I did budge through that number was when I tried the carnivore diet out for 6 months. But the only reason why I dropped lower on scale weight was because I was eating 0 carbohydrates. And when you're eating 0 carbohydrates, you're losing a lot of hydration and muscle glycogen. So bam, you're gonna drop a lot of that fluid out of your body. So yes, I did drop a little bit lower, but as soon as I started eating carbs, again, that came back up. But that's not a bad thing. It's not body fat. And actually, I looked better because I think when I look back at pictures, to be honest, when I was doing the carnivore, I think I looked a little bit like a dried up raisin. Like I just didn't look that good. And now that I started eating carbs again, and again, I do keep them on the lower side, but I do enjoy them, and vegetables and that, it just kind of, I'll say it just sort of hydrated my skin again, and my muscles, are a little bit like plumper, so to speak. And I feel better and I look better. And my body fat percentage has actually gone down. And I know this from doing a DEXA scan, 2 of them, in fact. I did a video on that, so if you want to take a look, go look at the DEXA scan video. I'll link it as well in the show notes in case you're interested in getting a DEXA scan, which tells you about your body composition. But that really was something that helped me to understand scale weight isn't everything. So really getting your body composition done in the most gold standard way is a really fantastic thing to do. But don't be afraid to adjust your goal weight is what I'm saying. If you picked a number and you thought, well, this is, I'm good with this number, and then you're not thrilled with that number when you get there, first you have to take a realistic assessment of, do you actually have more body fat to lose? Can you build more muscle? Or can you do both? If your body fat's already really low, well, then you really can't lose more weight. Then it's time to really start building the muscle and the strength. But if you do have body fat to lose, that's okay. You can adjust your goal weight. There's nothing wrong with that. And being on a GLP-1 really allows you to fine tune and essentially get as lean as you want to be. So if you really want to maximize your weight loss while on a GLP-1 and you're not responding, or you're a super slow responder, remember, you need to be able to titrate up in the doses. I ended up titrating up to the maximum dose on Wegovy, and then when I switched over to Mounjaro and Zepbound, I titrated all the way up to 15, and then I went down to 12 and 12.5, where I've been maintaining now for 2 years. That's where my body likes it. So we're not a number. Don't be afraid to titrate up when the time comes, in conjunction with your healthcare practitioner. So you have to have a good relationship with the person that is prescribing these to you, so you could discuss this together to make sure that it makes sense for you at that point in time to go up in the dose. But whatever you do, that number is not a character flaw or anything. Like, who cares what the number is? It's what your body, your biological system, your receptors, it's what you respond to. And some people respond at a really low dose, and other people like me need a higher dose for your body to respond to. But again, it's not a reflection on willpower, behavior, character, and also your scale weight is not a reflection on any of that either. So don't be afraid to adjust your scale weight. Don't be afraid to titrate up when the time comes, if that's what's needed. And also pair it with the right lifestyle, habit, and behavior changes that will sustain you for the maintenance as well as for the weight loss. You will maximize your weight loss. And that is really what you want to do. You want to be consistently losing weight so that you get that feedback that what you're doing is working. And even if you feel like it's slow, and let's say you lose 4 pounds in a month and you feel it's slow even though that's healthy, think of where you're going to be in 6 months or a year and where that weight loss is going to be. And if you're building muscle at the same time, wow, you're going to look amazing, because now your fat loss is going down, your muscle is going up, you're going to look amazing, you're going to feel amazing. And this is the pattern and the behaviors that will help you to sustain this lifestyle and be able to maintain it for the long term. So if you like this video and it resonated with you, please give it a like and subscribe. And I would love to hear from you in the comments. Where are you in your journey? Are you stuck? Are you going to try anything? What has worked for you? Maybe what hasn't worked for you that you've tried? And remember, it's a long journey. It's a never-ending journey. Like, we're never done. We are always looking to optimize, get better at what we're doing, get healthier, and stay on this journey. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on the GLP-1 either. It will help you. And I am here. I see you, and I want you to stay strong.